So at the outset, I would like to thank AIOC and Dr. Manoj Khatri and Dr. Vijayan Chawla for giving me this opportunity. And I will be talking about phacoemulsification and trabeculectomy, a combined surgery. A combined phacotrabeculectomy is like a double battle with a single weapon to manage a coexisting glaucoma and cataract, which is very common in elderly people we come across. But there are a lot of challenges doing this combined phacotrabeculectomy. These challenges is often due to the diagnosis and treatment because both can influence the management of each other. The factors which can decide the management plan for coexisting glaucoma and cataract would be a stage of cataract, the level of intraocular pressure and target IOP, type, severity, and rate of progression of glaucoma, associated comorbidities, the patient's preference and affordability, and the surgeon's skill. When we formulate the management, we can do cataract surgery alone, we can do a combined surgery through single site or a twin site, or we can do a two-staged surgeries. I prefer the technique of combined phacotrabeculectomy because it shows a good results, which we will be discussing soon. And I will be giving you a road to the success for combined single site phacotrabeculectomy by providing the pearls in the form of a preoperative evaluation, their indications, surgical technique, post-operative management, and advantage. The effective management, the key is a proper pre-operative comprehensive evaluation. So once we evaluate a cataract, for which we are more accustomed is the type and location of cataract, the density of cataract, but we are more worried about the pupillary dilatation, the integrity of zonules, the presence of pseudo-exfoliation and anterior chamber depth, which are the common associate when you are tackling a combined glaucoma and cataract patients, and maybe sometime micro-ophthalmos or nano-ophthalmos. Glaucoma, as usual, we need to check for intraocular pressure with applanation and target IOP, definitely the angle to find out the cause of glaucoma, the optic nerve status, the fields, the type of glaucoma, severity of glaucoma. So after that, we have to have a pre-operative detailed documentation to the patient, and we should get a proper informed consent with a realistic expectations, because these patients, they need a regular follow-up for glaucoma even after the surgery in post-op. Second pearl would be properly choosing your cases. The single site phacotrabeculectomy is to be done in patients, those who are having an uncontrolled intraocular pressure with the maximum medical therapy and visually significant cataract. It could be with an advanced optic atrophy where the postoperative IOP spikes during cataract surgery will be lethal. And second could be a very severe glaucoma associated with a cataract where you need an urgent visual recovery, and those patients, those who doesn't want to continue medical management because of the allergy, compliance, economical or various other issues. Second will be pearls of doing the surgery. It can be done in any way a surgeon is accustomed to. I do a surgery with 15 number. After making a Phonix Blaze flap, I do a 15 number blade and triangular flap and do a phaco through that tunnel, and the phaco will be a routine phaco. Only thing is just to look for the pupillary dilatation, look for the dense cataract and the shallow anterior chamber to be taken care of. So nothing to show in a phaco. So the phaco and the implantation of the intraocular lens will be exactly the same. What is more important is cutting the inner window, which is 2.5 into 1.5, and taking the pigment behind that. Make sure that trabeculum is being removed, and then doing a PI, a broad-based PI is good enough. And then you can put 3 sutures, one at the apex and 2 at the base with 10-0 nylon. The basal sutures can be releasable depending upon the type of the case. And with the 10-0 nylon vicryl sutures, one can tuck the 2 sides of the sclera and it does not give any leak. It can be done in any variety. I have shown you the open angle glaucoma, but it can be done in an open and closed angle glaucoma too. And if one can want to use in PAMA IOL, which we nowadays rarely use it, So we can definitely extend the tunnel to the extent of 5.5 to 6 millimeter to accommodate the optics very well, and it doesn't leak and it gives a perfect result. But nowadays, because of the availability of such a good lenses, we rarely use such things, but definitely one can use. This is my video from a charitable institute where we used to have a lot of glaucoma and cataract in a charitable wing. So rest of the surgery remains the same, putting that inner window and then PI and 3 sutures. If somebody wants to use in mitomycin C, definitely one can use a mitomycin C sponges soaked in 0.02 milligram of mitomycin C. The sponge count can vary from 1 to 5 depending upon the size and the size of the fornix cut conjunctiva or the size of sponges. I usually put 3 to 5 sponges depending upon the location, but I definitely put 1 sponge below the scleral flap, and then I keep it for 2 minutes, and after 2 minutes try to remove all sponges by count and then giving a thorough wash. But make sure that that anterior chamber is not being opened up from the tunnel or from the side port. So it is to be done before making an incision. Same, so it works very well when you do a mitomycin C in cases like some neovascular glaucoma cases or any other cases which are very high refractory cases. It can be done in ICE syndrome with good results. I have done 4-5 patients with 10 years follow-up, and they are doing good with single-site phacotrabeculectomy. It can be done in secondary variety of glaucoma also. This is a patient with pseudo-exfoliation and very dense glaucoma with posterior synecdoche. It can be done in brown cataract. Can use Kelly sponge like this, or it can be used post-vitrectomy cases where there is a coexistence of glaucoma and cataract. Post-traumatic cataract because of the coexisting glaucoma and cataract, and even in one-eyed patient with very dense non-dilating pupil after sphincterotomies you can do. But one thing we have to be very careful that there should not be a vitreous loss, because all the purpose will be defeated, and once you have a vitreous loss you can do a vitrectomy. Post-operative management remains the same, but cyclopentolate is one which has to be given, and this patient requires a very frequent follow-up with good IOP monitoring and watch for steroid responders, because glaucoma can coexist and they have astigmatism in the beginning. So don't worry, it will settle down in 4 to 6 weeks time, and now you establish the newer baseline IOP and fields, and then explain the long-term follow-up to such patients. Advantage is that you are tackling both the situations together, which is good for elderly people, and it is very comfortable because there is a single visit to the operation theater with a minimum trauma with lesser follow-up. It is cost effective, very well accepted by patients. It will give you an early rehabilitation because the patient's 2 surgeries will be taken care at one site, and it will save the time also for the surgeon, because surgeon doesn't need to change the position, and it can be finished up with sitting at 12 o'clock and do 10 minutes surgery. But nowadays, because we all surgeons doing a corneal tunnel sitting on a temporal site, so we can do a twin site also. It's surgeon's preference, and it is similar to any cataract surgery. Those who are trained in scleral tunnel can comfortably do it, and it is simple trabeculectomy. We can use we can have a good results which are comparable. Sometimes it gives even better results, give better sight for another trabeculectomy if it is needed in future. But the disadvantage is that it is giving you an excessive manipulation. So you have to be very careful. You have to be very skillful and very regular in the follow-up to reduce the inflammation, hyphema, and the risk of endophthalmitis, and long-term follow-up is equal. So to conclude, the phacotrabeculectomy is considered very safe for coexisting glaucoma and cataract patients. It eliminates the 2 invasive procedures and can simultaneously control the intraocular pressure, as well as the visual outcome is good. However, careful selection is important for the maximum benefit of patients. Thank you very much for listening and giving